Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today. As in today's show, we're going to discuss transiting Neptune in Aries through each of the 12 astrology houses in a chart. We're going to take a look at some of the overall influences of Neptune entering Aries, which occurs for the first time on March 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and how this will show up through the 12 areas of life and experiences of life that the 12 astrological houses represent. So in your chart, you want to identify where you have 0 degrees of Aries, as this is where transiting Neptune in Aries is going to move into the fresh expressions of Aries and will be shifting and evolving this part of your life over the next 14 years. Yes. So we have transiting Neptune in Aries beginning this new cycle in March 2025, remaining in Aries until October 22nd, 2025, where Neptune goes back into that last degree of Pisces for just a few months, then fully enters Aries January 26th, 2026, and remains in Aries, journeying through the first sign of the zodiac until early 2039. So please understand that when we're talking about these themes, especially of slow moving, shifting, confusing, mystical Neptune, the energies take time to develop and show up, as well as to be fully experienced. So even though Neptune enters Aries here in 2025, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden by the following Thursday, you're going to have all these Neptunian shifts and changes in your life. No, I want to give you a longer perspective on how Neptune operates and works. It is the ocean, it is the waves, the ebb and the flow. And typically with Neptune, the removals happen first. What needs to be dissolved is evident to you. There can be a loss or a lack of energy. There can be a sense of connecting with what you don't want, what has already served its purpose and is no longer in alignment for you. So as Neptune moves into Aries, the house that this is occurring in for you is showing you where a new start is being promised, and it's going to come through, but it probably won't occur right away. In fact, it may not truly take form and shape until Neptune is conjunct Saturn in February 2026 at 0 degrees 47 minutes of Aries. So I feel like this 6-month journey of Neptune in Aries in 2025 is a prelude, a precursor. It's giving you a heads up on what will be renewed and up-leveled for you, especially in 2026 and beyond. So keep in mind that you could be strongly feeling the Neptunian influences now because they are intuitive and energetic. They are being transmitted to you through the higher realms. And when you aren't in your logical, rational mind, this is those unexpected downloads, those intuitive hits. In Aries, it's about the gut level instincts. It's about what you're trusting, often rapidly and in the moment. It's understanding, wow, this just came through and I really feel drawn to it. I feel inspired. I feel like this is a direction for me. This is a new start. This is an inspiration that is busting me wide open to move into a new chapter. So that could be part of how you feel this transition of Neptune into Aries. It's also important to note that because Neptune is the higher realms is where the pure energies are moving and flowing, and it can take time for them to arrive in the physical. That's also why when we have this upcoming conjunction between Neptune and Saturn, Saturn is the physical, tangible, practical. Saturn is the visible, whereas Neptune is the invisible. And so there's going to be an interesting dance that occurs as Neptune is the stronger influence and will be removing part of what Saturn wants to create and develop in the new energy field, but Saturn is also going to help make those Neptunian inspirations and dreams more real. They will be more tangible and concrete with the influence of Saturn in Aries. So I do feel that it really isn't until 2026 that these energies are strongest and more visible. But here in 2025, again, you're already feeling or sensing the new beginnings, your own creative force perhaps coming alive, some type of reset occurring. There's also the experience of up-leveling on the ascension spiral, where we're moving up to new experiences in these new energies, and they're allowing us to continually grow and step into more of our spiritual mastery. And so for you at a personal level, this depends on the house placement that transiting Neptune in Aries is moving through. Now, this is where people ask, which house system should I use? And the answer is whichever one you resonate with, whichever house system you align with, that you feel is connected to your energy and that you are drawn to practice and work with. There are no wrong house systems. Rather, the house system you use and choose aligns with your Mercury and how you think and process the chaos of the cosmos. The cosmos is not a well-organized, linear, evenly distributed energy system. The cosmos is chaos in motion, and we try to understand it through house systems. There are over 20 different house systems, and they are configured based on different calculations of the data. House systems are based on very specific mathematical calculations. And so we have two types of interpretation: spatial or temporal, where the cosmos is divided based on space, or it's based on time. And this is why we have so many different house systems that are referenced and used. So it all comes down to working with whichever one resonates with you. And again, it resonates with your Mercury, which is how you think, how you process, how you understand. And that's why you'll find that people resonate with different house systems, and they'll be drawn to them because of how the information can be understood, as well as how it resonates with your own chart and how the planets are placed in your chart. And as a side note, as I have been in astrology for over 3 decades now, there's trends that happen with house systems. There's trends around which one's popular, which one's the best, which one you should use. All of that changes. All of that shifts over time. So basically it comes back to choosing and working with whichever one is best for you. Now, getting into transiting Neptune in your chart, this is where we experience big life changes outside of our control. This is why transiting Neptune can feel powerless, especially in the physical real world. It can feel like things are unfolding and circumstances are changing in a significant way that we don't get to actively choose with our free will what we want. And so the Neptune influence is one of going higher, allowing ourselves to transcend the physical, logical world and to find the energetic meaning, the spiritual practices, and the deeper intuitive messages that bring about peace, acceptance, and understanding for the changes of Neptune. Now, you can look back on your life and notice where transiting Neptune in Pisces has greatly changed your experience since 2011. That's when transiting Neptune entered its home sign of Pisces. And perhaps you can see and identify how this energy has been working with you over the past 14 years. And this also gives you an understanding of how it takes a lot of time for the Neptune energies to operate and work. So if you have a planet or point in Pisces, so you would have had Neptune in Pisces conjunct that planet sometime in the past 14 years, it takes Neptune about 18 to 24 months, about 2 years to work with a degree point. Of course, it depends on the territory covered in the retrogrades, but know that that is how long this experience unfolds. And that's often why our human selves struggle with it, because you feel like you're lost at sea, you're in the abyss, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know how the life events are going to unfold next. But what you're meant to do is to keep trusting, believing, having faith, turning inward, doing something creative or artistic to move the energy and to connect with more of your soul's guidance. So I offer that so that you can reference the past 14 years of Neptune and Pisces and understand that it will be similar as it operates in Aries. But of course, the Aries energies are very different from the Piscean influences. So what I mean by that is with Neptune moving into Aries, Aries brings about the beginnings, creative change, new dreams, new quest, something you want to change in your life because you're ready to experience more of who you are based on who you are now. The Aries energy is subjective, personal. It's related to your self-identity, personal desires and ambitions. There's a desire for movement, adventure, doing something fun, creative, expanding into more of who you are and allowing yourself to trust what you want and who you are even more. So this energy is more personal than the Neptune and Pisces energies. And we're going to feel that at a very intuitive, deep level. This can work with your core self. This can be quite internal as you are shifting and evolving with Neptune in Aries, which means it also removes. Neptune in Aries removes who you no longer are. It removes parts of yourself that you no longer identify with or you don't want to experience. It can support any of your energetic transformation of what you've outgrown and what you want removed from your experiences and your life. So it's important to remember that Neptune is about removals. And that can be a wonderful, freeing experience. It can also bring up a sense of loss or lack. And I do want to note that I have a fuller presentation on Neptune and Aries and the specifics of it, including Saturn in Aries dancing with Neptune and Aries in my 2025 Soul Growth Astrology program. That's more of a deep dive into these energies, which I highly recommend checking out, especially if you have planets or points in the early degrees of Aries or the early degrees of the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs being Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. This transiting Neptune in Aries energy is going to be working with you more personally, so it will be more significant on your path here over the next 14 years. So let's get to what it means with transiting Neptune in Aries moving through each of the 12 houses. Now, if transiting Neptune in Aries is moving through your first house, the first house is about the individual. It's your energy container, including your physical body, your physical appearance, your style, your personal identity. This brings up the way you present yourself to the world and what you identify with to reach your full potential. You're going to have new dreams and understandings of what that could be. You could have a sense of this is where I'm moving ahead in my own personal evolution. This is what is calling to me that I want to pursue and trust. Now, Neptune in the first house can also bring about depletion in physical energy. There can be a sense of I don't have as much energy as I normally do. I need to rest and sleep more. My energy container is not feeling as motivated. There's a lack of vitality. There's a sense of needing more downtime, which allows you to tune into the higher realms, to what you're feeling and trusting, and to also pay attention to your body. So also with Neptune influences, you have to be aware of how you are integrating the higher frequencies because you can be more burnt out, exhausted, and tired without understanding why. But that is typical of a Neptune influence. So Neptune in the first house brings your attention to your body, any messages that you need to pay attention to in terms of blood flow, physical activity, and what could feel like a slowdown where normally that Aries energy would be bursting forward, pedal to the metal style. This is a slowdown, and it's happening for an important reason, to reconnect you with your body and the softer, quieter messages that are coming up internally. Neptune in Aries in the second house. The second house is about what you own, possess, and value. It's about what you make and what you take in. This includes your finances, creations, possessions, and property, your investments, responsibilities, where you go for daily stability, and how you build your life. So that second house is what you turn to, that you want to be reliable and you want it to be concrete and firm. Well, with Neptune and Aries coming through, this could be an understanding of more ways to be yourself and to move into your personal value system. You could see some changes in what you want in your physical world. You could feel changes around what you claim for yourself, what you want to put your name on, what you want to own. There could be a turnover here of what no longer calls to you and of what you don't want to be responsible for. This is also where we have shifting changes in personal resources, as Neptune and Aries is going to bring you into, what do I really want to own? What is really true for me and represents my energy now? So you could have a sense of, well, I'm going to get rid of all this. I don't need any of that. And now I have room and space for new creations, new parts of myself to come alive, to play with and experiment with, and trust that this is what's true for me, even if it's pushing me forward in an area of life that I don't want to change. That second house is where we don't seek change and we don't want to take a risk or do anything differently because we like to go to what is reliable and true. But Neptune in Aries is saying it's time for a new chapter here. It's time to be more self-aware of your energy, what you're calling into your space, and what you're allowing to exist in your space. Now we move on to the third house. Transiting Neptune in Aries in the third house connects to your mental processes, language, speaking, communication, self-expression. It's about what you do in a day that you have to take care of as you live your life and move around your daily world. The third house relates to siblings, neighbors, people who are in our close proximity to you, including your peers and people you see on a daily basis. The third house is about short distance travel in your community, the businesses you go to, whether that's for your laundry, your coffee, the school pickup line. The third house has a busyness to it, and it's where we seek to understand. We take in a lot in the third house arena. And with Neptune and Aries moving through here, there could be things changing and coming about that you don't fully understand, but you're aware that it's new and different, and that you have to be adaptable to the changes. Neptune and Aries is also going to bring up how you speak and express yourself, how your throat chakra operates, and where you may need to speak your truth or express yourself in a new way, how there is growth here as Neptune in Aries asks you to trust what you're feeling and sensing, and to consider that it doesn't always have to be data-driven or logical, but that you might have more inspirations in the moment. You might start to understand things more intuitively, while also having a hard time with the correct words or logical reasoning. Transiting Neptune in Aries in the third house opens up new communications as well. And so this could be directly with your spirit guides, but this could also be with those who live in your area, who go to your school, who are at your workplace. It can open up new conversations, new topics, new group chats. And because Neptune brings about a slowdown, it could be harder to find the words you want. It could be harder to understand what you want to say or express as well. Neptune in Aries in the fourth house is a quieter placement. It's internal, and it's where you go at the end of the day for peace and calm. It's also connected to your family, where you came from, and your roots. Neptune in Aries is going to bring up more about what you've been holding at your emotional core. It's a foundational placement in the fourth house, as it's one of the base houses in the chart. And it's where you could have a desire to understand more about where you came from, your genealogy and your lineage. There's also a deeper connection here to family, parents, children, and those you live with. You might seek to change your immediate environments. Your comfort zone might need to be renovated, and you could be seeking a new place to live, a new place to call home with Neptune in Aries in the 4th house. This is where you're looking for what feels good to you, what resonates with you at a personal level. The 4th house is sacred space and nurturing power. So Neptune in Aries is going to bring your attention to more of your internal experiences and needs, and ask you to consider what you use and need to feel at home on this planet. Neptune in Aries also seeks to step away from the world, from other people, wants privacy, and wants to be in your own space more often and not. So it's good to understand that, because it's going to help you connect with what you need and to allow yourself more of that downtime and personal private space. Transiting Neptune in Aries in the 5th house is going to open up all new levels of personal expression, creativity, risk-taking, playfulness. There could be a sense of your inner child is coming out in a whole new way. There's a desire for fun and games and pleasure. The 5th house also connects to how you give and receive love based on who you really are. So Neptune in Aries could bring up new understandings of who you are now and what you need. Maybe there is a new love language that you're realizing you want, or that is a better fit for you now. Maybe you're understanding more of how you need to express yourself, what gives you life, what helps you enjoy your gifts and your talents even more. So that 5th house is where you seek more playfulness, perhaps with wild abandon, and you could come into contact with more of what you enjoy. So new hobbies, activities, passions, new places you want to be, new things you want to do. There is a real spark here of life when you have that Aries energy in the 5th house. And you could certainly be reconnecting with more of your soul gifts and what you want to create in this lifetime. Transiting Neptune and Aries in the 6th house brings your attention to your daily job, work, responsibilities, training, physical health, diet, hygiene, being of service, what you do for others, what you are responsible for. Neptune in Aries, however, is going to bring your attention back to yourself and ask you to redirect your energy inward. Instead of being focused on how you are performing, what you're doing, how you're taking care of others, or how you're able to contribute to something bigger than yourself, Neptune in Aries is about what you need for your own personal energy. And understanding that taking care of yourself is one of the best things you could do, and is the ultimate service when you're able to make sure that you're filling up your own cup first. So this can bring your attention to your body consciousness, anything in your lifestyle or daily routines that you want to change or do differently. Health is certainly focused on here with transiting Neptune in Aries in the 6th house, paying attention to what your body is telling you, what you're feeling. If something feels off or feels weak, to pay attention to it and to ask for support. That's another thing about the 6th house, is that you need support here too, even though it can be easier to take it on yourself or not want to trouble somebody. The 6th house is where you may need to seek an expert or someone who can provide the answers that you don't see for yourself. Now, of course, I'm just covering general themes. There's no way this could be a personal reading for everyone, but I hope this directs your attention to some of the bigger umbrella themes to be aware of, and to stay conscious of the messages that Neptune will be bringing in for you. Now, the first 6 houses there in the astrology chart are about the self, who you are, your personal development, becoming more familiar with what you need, what you like, what you enjoy, what you're good at. So houses 1 through 6 are internal houses, and transiting Neptune moving through here makes this more of a personal journey for you, where it's not something that other people would be aware of. They're not going to see it or sense it the way that you're feeling it. So there's a lot of privacy when that Neptune is transiting through houses 1 through 6. It's your internal world, and it's only those close to you who might know or sense what you're experiencing. It also could be something that you're meant to move through on your own for your own soul development. And Neptune is directly connected to your higher self and your soul's guidance. And that's where your intuition is growing and developing through that house. So again, houses 1 through 6 are personal and internal. And this is important to understand because now as we move to houses 7 through 12, there is a significant energy shift. And one of the ways that the energy shifts is that in houses 7 through 12, Neptune and Aries can show up as a person or experience in your life that is that external influence affecting you. So let's talk about it in regards to Neptune and Aries in the 7th house. The 7th house is about cooperations, relationships, partnerships, interdependence, negotiations, communications, and choices. The 7th house relates to significant people in your life that you work one-on-one with and what you share in those connections, how you share what's on your mind, what you're feeling, how you share what's going on in your world, and then how you receive and take in what they're bringing to you. And so this is a house of equality and equilibrium. That's what the 7th house seeks. So with Neptune and Aries in the 7th house, however, there could be an individual who shows up who resembles Neptune and Aries qualities. This could show up through these partnerships, relationships, contracts, negotiations. That Neptune and Aries could be someone who is deceptive, could be someone who isn't giving you the full truth, all the facts, all the information, or all the details. So this is where you want to be very aware of who arrives in your life and to ensure that you really trust them and how that trust is developed over time and how that trust is developed through equal exchanges. Now, this can also be someone showing up who is a soulmate. That's another thing with Neptune, is that it could be a person coming through who deeply resonates with you at a soul level. So it doesn't mean that everyone's a liar. It means that you want to be very aware of how you're feeling and what you're sensing, and that it's not simply how someone presents themselves, which is the 7th house. It's how someone shows up to do business with you or to have an important conversation. But Neptune is communicating to you about the unseen. What are their intentions? What are they looking for? Or who are they really? So keep in mind that in the 7th house, you are learning about relationship dynamics with this Neptune energy as a big guide, and also asking you to trust yourself. That's the Neptune and Aries. Trust what you're feeling, even if your mind is saying something else, but trust how you're picking up on the energies and allow that to be an important part of what you're understanding. Then in the 8th house, Neptune and Aries can present itself through 8th house themes. Now, the 8th house is other people's values and opinions. It's about what you share with other people and how you merge together, how you merge in connections and relationships, as that 8th house is about emotional depth, sexuality, psychology, intimacy, and getting to the heart of fears. Takes you into the deeper subconscious programming around how we operate. And Neptune and Aries here can open you up to deeper intuitive understandings of your own energy. So take you into the depths of more of who you are and what you're seeking to share with others. At a more practical level, the 8th house is insurance, banking, taxes, what you share with other people, even bigger institutions, such as financial institutions, credit card companies, mortgage companies, insurance companies. Neptune and Aries can bring about changes here in the 8th house possessions and what you own. And it could be that there is a loss or there are resources leaving. There are shifts occurring here as Neptune removes and takes away something, but Aries brings in what's new. And so if there are losses, there could be more of a desire then to bring back something that you lost, but to bring it back in a way that's truer for you and is in greater alignment with what you want to connect and merge with. The 8th house is deeply transformative through an emotional process and also through an energetic process. So this is where you could meet someone, let's say, through that Neptune and Aries. Someone can show up into your life and they deeply affect you. Aries. They deeply affect your sense of self, Aries. They take you into more of who you are, what you want, and what you're about through a transformative journey. So again, this could be, with Neptune, someone who is manipulative, or it could be a soulmate. I mean, it really can run the full spectrum, and it could be something that you're aware of the dynamics and the energies, and you just sense that this is really good, this is really true, or you sense that it's off. Often with the 8th house, there's such an intensity there that you can't deny what you're feeling. So do pay attention to that as well if you have this transiting Neptune and Aries in the 8th house. Now we move to the 9th house. Transiting Neptune in Aries in the 9th house is going to bring your energy and experiences to your belief systems and to revealing what you seek to understand in yourself now versus what no longer is a fit for you. And so you can have a changeover here in belief systems. People can step away from certain spiritual practices or backgrounds. They might leave one religion and move towards another understanding that is in more alignment with their journey now. The 9th house is about how you understand the world at large. And so Neptune in Aries brings up ideologies, shifting focuses, wanting to have a higher perspective and even a more philosophical understanding of life. This is the house of adventure, travel, exploration, and Neptune in Aries could feel like it's sending you on a quest to understand more of who you are in the world now, and that you need to do something on your own. There's independence in the 9th house. There is a desire here to expand beyond what you've known and to seek out new frontiers. At a more practical level, the 9th house is about publishing, law, internationalism, religion, higher education, foreign cultures and foreign studies, mental expansion, seeking new answers, and perhaps even seeking new questions. So that 9th house is going to have you looking up and looking out, seeing how big the world is, and maybe looking for your own place in the world. There's a search for meaning and understanding with the 9th house, and this Neptune in Aries in the 9th house might really want freedom, might really seek to be untethered as you search for more of who you are. So you're connecting to what is greater than oneself through the 9th house, and you're desiring to develop a new belief system, worldview, and self-understanding based on that quest. This could mean desiring to travel more to new places, but that could even mean venturing into new topics or new areas of study to have more diverse knowledge and apply a beginner's mind to some passion or a new inspiration. In the 9th house, Neptune in Aries can present itself as a new chapter or a new beginning point that expands you and raises your curiosity. And just like with houses 7 and 8, the 9th house is where you're taking in more of the world, so you could have some type of life-changing development or experience that actually brings you more into your soul's frequency and your purpose in this lifetime. Now we'll take a look at transiting Neptune in Aries in the 10th house. And the 10th house is connected to your purpose in this lifetime, what you are achieving, how you are recognizing your gifts, your mastery, your abilities. We often associate it with our career and our professional standing, but the 10th house is much more than that. It's what you're doing in the world that's about your overall contribution. It's your role in a community, how you are feeling on purpose and in your authority. The 10th house brings about status, titles, rewards, recognition, and it's also a demonstration of external manifestations, what you have developed and built in your life, what you have earned over time, and how you have put in that hard energy and work that has paid off. But now, with transiting Neptune and Aries, you could have a new sense of yourself, a new desire to follow a different path. This is where your soul mission comes up here in the 10th house, and you feel a new calling for the work you want to do in your life that has meaning to you. And this Neptune in Aries could bring that about in a very unexpected or soft way. Neptune in Aries, again, could be a person who inspires you to be more of yourself, could align you with a new form of soul work, and could show you more of who you came here to be in this lifetime that deeply resonates with your sense of self. Transiting Neptune in Aries in the 10th house can connect you to a new career path. And it could be confusing at first. And again, you could have beginner's mind, which is Aries, and you could have a sense of, well, I haven't earned this. I don't have the certifications. I haven't earned the title. And so there could be something coming up for you around whether or not you feel qualified or ready for this next line of work or this new career path. But you could feel that your soul or a higher power, a higher energy is guiding you in this direction. And that would be the influence of Neptune here in the 10th house, is that even if it feels very confusing and uncertain, some people could wonder, well, what do I do next in my life? What are my gifts? What are my talents? Well, Neptune is going to show you ways to understand yourself, to understand more of who you are, what you're good at, and what you came here to offer. But because that Neptune influence can be confusing, you're going to have to trust your intuitive nudges, maybe those breadcrumbs or the soft little things that show up along the way before you have concrete answers and clarity. And since Neptune is about removals, there can be endings here in a role or occupation you had for a long time, whether that is the industry is no longer in demand or the company goes out of business. There can be a loss here that then prompts you into a new direction that you'll realize is actually a better path, especially for that Aries self that wants to know who you are in the world and what you're good at. Neptune in Aries will also remove any of the overactive ego or competitiveness where you might not feel like you have to be the best or you have to do it well all the time. You could have more compassion for yourself and more self-acceptance that you're learning as you go, and you'll get better over time. Then we have transiting Neptune in Aries in the 11th house. And the 11th house is connected to our bigger life path, our bigger vision and dream of what we want to experience in our life, of what we're moving towards. It often can be quite uplifting and brings us into contact with more possibilities than we never would have considered. So transiting Neptune in Aries in the 11th house can bring about a new vision that you want to pursue, more that you feel personally called to. And perhaps that could be at a collective level, meaning you're feeling an activism or something around humanity that's drawing you into a new project, a new dream, a new endeavor. Or it could be that you're understanding more of your soul's contributions in this lifetime and you want to expand that out into the world. The 11th house is connected with group activities, social relationships and responsibilities, friendships, networking, associations, charitable endeavors, offering your energy out into the world and connecting with something much bigger than you. The 11th house can also be detachment and feeling that you're here to make a difference, even if you don't know what that means exactly. And that Neptune in Aries brings up the questions of, I know I'm here for an important reason and I really want to do this or contribute to this. I really want to offer my talents, my professional skills and my abilities in some capacity that's rewarding, but I'm not sure what that looks like yet because of those Neptunian questions that arise. The 11th house is where we seek to improve the world. We want to make a difference and how you personally feel called to do so. So with that transiting Neptune in Aries, in the 11th house, you're being seated with a new vision, a new understanding of what that could be for you personally. And there is a focus here on independence. So even though the 11th house brings up all the people you know in the world, I mean, this would be all of your social media contacts, your group chats, your group connections. Those are more of the long distance or acquaintance connections of the 11th house. And the Aries influence is, well, I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to go it alone. I'm going to follow this path and I'm going to trust that this is correct for my journey in this lifetime. And so I feel that for those who have this transiting Neptune and Aries in the 11th house, you're going to feel a new calling and that a new part of yourself is coming alive here. Now, going back to the theme of removals, this means that there will be people leaving your life, groups, friendships, connections, acquaintances, things that are no longer in alignment with your frequency are being removed through that Neptunian influence. And you could find yourself doing more on your own. And there's freedom with that. There's a sense of, oh, I just feel so open to the world. And that means you're open then for those new connections and those new dreams to arrive. In the 11th house, there could also be a searching and seeking energy. Where do I fit in? Where do I belong? Where is the correct place for me? So you could be asking these questions at a more personal level. And of course, when you ask your spirit, they will bring you understandings of what that could be and what that could look like. So note that if you are searching for what's next, where to go, who your people are, or what calls to you, it could be simply asking and then allowing Neptune to deliver the insights and answers. And then finally, we come to the 12th house. And if you have Neptune in Aries transiting through the 12th house, this is a very private internal space. This is where you are being guided to look at what you are completing and ending, what is in karmic review for you, and where to trust that your personal life path is closing out energies that have served their purpose. Transiting Neptune in the 12th house can make you much more intuitive, psychic, receptive, and aware. This is a very private energy. It's a private placement where you seek time alone, perhaps even to rest, meditate, sleep, daydream, or get lost in a creative passion where there's no track of time and you don't have to be anywhere else. There's a desire here to be on your own, to do things your own way, and to allow the energies to steer you, to allow the energies to direct you towards anything that calls to you in the moment. The 12th house is your subconscious, spiritual karma, idealism, mental health, what is concealed from public view. It's a review process and also sparks internal transformations. This is where you could be seeking to understand parts of your life path, seeking to understand what was that about? What was I learning? What was that experience teaching me? How can I grow from it? And how can I see it through a spiritual lens? So there's a spiritual review process that arises with the 12th house, especially with Neptune here, as Neptune is going to connect you with what you didn't see before and deliver it in a way that brings about new self-awareness and personal understanding in Aries. The 12th house is private matters, secrets, idealism, hidden enemies, hospitals, jails, mental institutions. I mean, it's things that are out of view. And so you could feel like you're being ushered into a new space for your own private review of life matters, experiences, relationships, energies, and how they have shaped and formed you. And that Neptune in Aries is going to ask you, is this you? Does this still resonate? Or how do you find self-compassion and greater self-love? So there is more privacy needed here in the 12th house as more energies come up for review as well as completion. Your dream state messages could be vivid and clear, and also could be the open channel through which your spirit team is giving you those insights and downloads to support understanding your journey and what you've been learning about yourself in this lifetime. So there we have a brief and rather quick review of transiting Neptune in Aries through each of the 12 astrology houses. I hope this allows you to tune in to what will be shifting and changing in your life, where you can expect parts of your experience to dissolve so that the next version can arrive, as well as stay open to what your soul is learning in this lifetime and how the Neptune and Aries energy is going to feel more personal, but bring about more personal awakenings, give you more insights into your soul's path, into who you are in this lifetime, and into what's possible for you as you trust and love yourself more. And that is one of the main overarching themes of Neptune, is to see yourself through the lens of unconditional love, to accept who you are as an imperfect human being moving through these wild transitioning energies doing the best you can, and also to keep it light. Keep it light in your heart and light in your head, to travel with a lightheartedness that allows you to skip and flow, enjoy these energies instead of feeling like we have to always do things with excellence or we have to expect so much from ourselves. Bring in more of that self-acceptance and self-compassion. Go easier on yourself. Let yourself off the hook at times and then just keep going, which is also part of that Aries influence. Since we have this transit unfolding for 14 years, oh yes, we will be talking about it more, but I hope this helps you understand what to look for in your own chart. And as I mentioned, you can find more specifics in the 2025 Soul Growth Astrology program as I discuss more about Neptune in Aries plus Saturn in Aries. Or if you're looking to understand more about the transiting planets in your chart, if that is where you're at in your astrological studies, I have an online course for you that takes you through the transiting planets and shows you how to understand them in your chart. So that's called Learn Astrology Transits in Your Chart. And I also teach you how to read an ephemeris, which is what we reference to know where the planets are any day, month, or year. And then we go through 9 transiting planets plus the sun and the moon. So it's a very simple, easy way to grasp this area of astrology. So do check that out if you want to learn more about transiting planets. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon here on the podcast. You can find out more of my latest offerings and books at mollymccord.online. Otherwise, I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for a new podcast episode. Wishing you the very best here as we move into this Neptune and Aries territory, and I'll see you back here soon.